Breaking news. A strange new object, or perhaps two, is racing through our solar system right now. Its name? 3I Atlas. Its mission? Unknown. Its behavior? Utterly unprecedented. Originally thought to be just another comet, 3I Atlas has defied every expectation. It has no tail. It brightened fivefold. It turned bluer than the sun. And according to Dr. Avi Loeb at Harvard University, it maneuvered, as in actively changed its path. NASA hasn't said much, but the Galileo project is watching. Congress has been briefed, and on December 19th, just 6 days before Christmas, this thing makes its closest pass to Earth. This isn't science fiction. This is real, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why scientists are calling 3I Atlas the most confounding interstellar object ever recorded. Stranger than Oumuamua, faster than Borisov, and possibly not alone. If you're fascinated by space mysteries, intelligent signals, or the possibility of interstellar visitors, hit that like button and subscribe. And comment below, where are you watching from? Because no matter where you are, this object is now part of your sky. Segment: Discovery Announcement Plus. Visual Tool Introduction. Let's rewind to the beginning. September 2025. Astronomers using the ATLAS system, that's the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, spot a fast-moving object entering the inner solar system. Its trajectory? Hyperbolic. Meaning, it's not orbiting the Sun, it's passing through, just like Oumuamua in 2017 and 2I Borisov in 2019. This new object is designated 3 Atlas. 3I because it's the third interstellar object ever confirmed. Atlas after the system that first spotted it, but something's off. Even in early images from the Virtual Telescope project in Italy, directed by Dr. Gianluca Massi, 3I Atlas appeared strange. Its colour is unusually bright in the blue spectrum. Not white, not yellow, blue. That's not normal for a comet, and it's moving fast, really fast. Approximately 150 kilometers per second. That's 3 times faster than any Earth-launched rocket. Segment: Alignment Phenomenon. NK1 Perihelion Event, October 29th, 2025. 3I Atlas reaches its perihelion, the closest point to the Sun. It's 203 million kilometers away from the star, roughly halfway between Earth and Mars. At this distance, it's bombarded by solar radiation, about 770 watts per square meter. Astronomers expect some outgassing, maybe even a tail. But 3I Atlas doesn't produce a typical cometary tail. Instead, it forms 7 discrete jets. No broad arc of debris, no long sweeping trail. Just concentrated, directed plumes, a pattern that looks more like thrusters. And what happens next? The brightness jumps fivefold. Between November 6th and November 9th, astronomers across 3 continents report the same thing, a sharp spike in optical intensity, especially in shorter blue wavelengths. The Las Vegas Observatory, part of the Galileo project, logs data showing spectral shifts consistent with nickel-rich material and unusual ionization patterns. Segment: Visual Sky Mapping, SkyEye and Stellarium Integration. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a digital projection of the night sky using SkyEye or Stellarium. You input the object's coordinates for November 9th, 2025. 3I Atlas appears near the constellation Sagittarius, not far from the galactic center line. If you zoom out, you'll notice something even more peculiar. Another faint object, tracing a nearly identical trajectory. 9 degrees offset. This is the twin. Not yet officially confirmed by NASA, but noted by multiple amateur astronomers comparing sky charts from different dates. The idea that there are 2 interstellar objects travelling in proximity, with one acting even stranger, is almost too wild to be believed. Is this just a fragment from the original body, or are we dealing with an entire cluster of interstellar anomalies? Segment: The Twin Theory and Trajectory Analysis. According to JPL's Horizons database, 3I Atlas's path lies along the plane of the planets, or the ecliptic. That's rare for interstellar bodies, which often slice through our system at steep angles. Its calculated inclination is near zero. The twin object, if confirmed, follows a near parallel path. This raises a serious question. Was this path selected? Dr. Avi Loeb, Harvard astrophysicist and founder of the Galileo Project, spoke with Newsmax on November 7th. Quote, "It maneuvered." Loeb clarified that the observed acceleration, not explained by gravity alone, would require the object to eject roughly 5 billion tons of material, directionally. But there's no tail, no dust plume, no photometric evidence of random mass shedding. Instead, it appears controlled, coordinated, maybe even intentional. Segment, solar activity context and comet comparison. Traditionally, comets brighten as they approach the sun, shedding gas and dust, forming visible tails of ionized material. But 3I Atlas is doing the opposite. It's shedding no tail and still accelerating. It's important to compare. Oumuamua, the first interstellar object, had a strange cigar shape, no tail, and odd accelerations. 2I Borisov, the second, looked like a normal comet, with gas emissions and ice. 3I Atlas seems like a hybrid. Physically, it's estimated to be 4 to 5 kilometers across, similar to many comets. But chemically, spectral scans from the Virtual Telescope Project and the Galileo Project show nickel-rich composition, with low iron ratios, unusual for icy interstellar bodies. And then, there's the colour. 3I Atlas is bluer than the Sun. That's baffling. The Sun's temperature is around 5800 Kelvin, giving it a white-yellow hue. But 3I Atlas emits light in the blue spectrum, suggesting radiation shorter than 450 nanometers, despite having a lower temperature. Physically, that's a contradiction, unless something else is responsible. Segment, political echo, Capitol Hill and congressional briefing. While the public waits, Congress has already been briefed. Sources confirm that Dr. Loeb met with Representative Anna Paulina Luna on Capitol Hill in early November. The topic? 3I Atlas and the potential implications of technological signatures. Luna has since pressed for the declassification of high-resolution imagery captured by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, HiRISE team. This data, if released, could show the object's surface features in stunning detail. But as of now, NASA has remained publicly silent. No press release, no mission brief, just raw trajectory data. And that silence is making people wonder. Segment, crowdsourced astronomy, Virtual Telescope Project. As institutions remain cautious, citizen astronomers are stepping in. On November 9, 2025, the Virtual Telescope Project live-streamed 3I Atlas's movement across the sky. What viewers saw was remarkable. 7 visible jets, pulsing intermittently. No tail, despite proximity to the sun. A faint glow that intensified and focused, not diffused. Dr. Gianluca Massi described the behavior as non-classical, a term rarely used for celestial objects. Meanwhile, astronomers from Chile's Las Campanas Observatory and the Mauna Kea telescopes in Hawaii are reporting parallel anomalies. One Chilean observer noted, "It behaves more like a spacecraft than a comet." Of course, that doesn't mean it is one, but it does mean we've never seen anything quite like it. Segment, the maneuver claim, breakdown of acceleration. Let's break it down. To change trajectory the way 3I Atlas did, based on orbital fit modelling from October to November, the object would have to accelerate laterally. The calculated lateral acceleration is small but non-negligible, about 0.02 s2o. That might seem tiny, but in space it's massive. For a 5-kilometre wide object to pull that off, it would have to eject an enormous amount of mass in one direction, or use non-gravitational thrust, but no such outgassing has been visually confirmed. No dust cone, no debris trail, and then something even stranger happened. On multiple nights between November 6th and 9, observations show directional blinking from the object, pulses of blue light in regular intervals. Not random flickers, timed bursts. Could this be natural surface rotation? Sure, but the periodicity doesn't match any known tumbling motion for an object this size. Back to the twin. Using layered observations from amateur astronomers and open-source sky trackers, another object has been tentatively logged near the original trajectory of 3I Atlas, approximately 9 degrees away in the sky. Its brightness is lower, but its motion is coordinated. If this second object is confirmed to have entered the solar system alongside 3I Atlas, the implications multiply. Was this a binary system, a fractured probe, or multiple fragments of an earlier structure, perhaps even artificial? Avi Loeb has hinted at this possibility, suggesting that fragments from interstellar civilizations could traverse space in coordinated fleets or swarms. And if that's the case, we might not be witnessing one anomaly. We could be witnessing the first interstellar formation to ever enter our planetary neighborhood. Let's talk about tails. No, not alien antennas, we mean cometary tails, the kind you'd expect when icy bodies dive toward the sun. Comets are dirty snowballs. As they heat up, they eject gas and dust. That outflow forms two tails, an ion tail and a dust tail. It's basic astrophysics. But 3I Atlas refuses to follow the rules. Despite receiving over 770 watts per square meter of solar radiation at perihelion, which is enough to melt surface material on most known comets, it does not exhibit the classic long-tail structure. Instead, what's observed is bizarre. 7 jets, isolated, concentrated, and still no wide dust tail, even under high-contrast optical analysis. This lack of debris is not just weird, it's nearly unprecedented. When astronomers compared it to 2I Borisov, the previous interstellar comet, the contrast was striking. Borisov shed huge amounts of material, easily tracked by ground-based telescopes. But 3I Atlas, clean, focused, blue. So what's going on? NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, orbiting Mars since 2006, has a camera called HiRISE. It's capable of taking some of the highest resolution images in space, sharper than Hubble in some narrow fields. And it just so happened that HiRISE had a clear line of sight to 3I Atlas in early November. Multiple sources have now confirmed that images were captured, but as of today, no high-res images have been released. Representative Anna Paulina Luna is asking why. Congressional pressure is mounting. The Galileo project has submitted data requests, but the silence is deafening. Meanwhile, institutions outside the US are stepping up. ESA's Solar Orbiter, the European Southern Observatory, and Japan's Subaru Telescope in Hawaii are all reportedly tracking 3I Atlas. A quiet race is underway, not just to photograph the object, but to figure out what it really is. Why the urgency? Because in science, the first to publish gets the credit. And if this object, or its twin, turns out to be more than just a rock, history will remember who told the world first. Let's zoom in on the math. 3I Atlas is travelling nearly along the ecliptic plane, the flat, disc-shaped zone in which all the major planets orbit. This is not normal for interstellar objects. Oumuamua came in on a steep angle, roughly 123 degrees to the ecliptic. 2I Borisov, steep as well. But 3I Atlas glides in with near Koppelner motion. It's like a marble rolling across a tabletop, not plunging from above. Statistically, the chance of an interstellar object entering on a path this aligned with our solar system is less than 0.1%. This has led some theorists, including Harvard's Dr. Loeb, to wonder, could the ecliptic be a navigational highway? Think about it. If you wanted to send a probe through another star system without colliding with random debris, wouldn't it make sense to travel where the planets are? Where gravity is predictable, where energy-efficient maneuvers are possible. If 3I Atlas is intelligently guided, the ecliptic might be the road it follows. The most baffling feature, though? The colour. According to multiple observatories, including the Virtual Telescope Project and the Las Vegas Galileo site, 3i Atlas has shifted towards short wavelength emission, becoming bluer than the Sun. Let's break that down. The Sun's surface temperature is about 5,678 Kelvin. That puts its peak radiation in the visible yellow-white spectrum. Blue light, by contrast, corresponds to higher energy photons, usually requiring temperatures over 10,000 Kelvin, or materials emitting from excited atomic transitions. But 3i Atlas is not hot. Infrared observations indicate surface temperatures lower than the Sun's. So how is it radiating bluer light? One possibility: high-velocity ionized gas jets, shooting out material that emits in the blue range due to nickel excitation or even artificial illumination. Artificial. It's a fringe idea, but one Loeb has suggested we shouldn't rule out. In his own words, if you find a plastic bottle on the beach, you don't assume nature made it. In this case, if something is actively emitting short wavelength blue light, and it's not because of heat, we might be dealing with a signal, or a signature of something unknown. Speaking of signals, in multiple telescope frames from November 7-9, observers noted pulsed emissions coming from 3i Atlas. Not random fluctuations, but rhythmic bursts. Roughly every 37.1 seconds, a flash. Blue. Then dim. Then again. This repeats for over an hour in captured video. Amateur astronomers on Reddit and space weather forums immediately flagged it. Some speculated it could be a rotational flash, like a lighthouse effect as the object spins. But calculations based on mass and shape make that implausible. To spin a 5-kilometer body fast enough to flash every 37 seconds, you'd expect material to fly off due to centrifugal force. But there's no debris, no instability, just the pulse. Could this be a rotating beacon, a propulsion mechanism, or, as some daring theorists suggest, an intentional transmission? We can't say yet, but this rhythmic pattern is now under analysis by multiple SETI-affiliated institutions. And interestingly, the coordinates from which 3i Atlas entered, they're within 9 degrees of the origin vector of the famous WOW signal from 1977. Coincidence? Maybe. But the more we dig, the weirder it gets. Here's the question everyone's quietly asking. Is this natural or engineered? Science doesn't like to jump to conclusions. That's a good thing. But it also doesn't like anomalies it can't explain. With Oumuamua, the debate raged for years, and still rages. It tumbled oddly, accelerated, showed no tail. But scientists ultimately called it weirdly shaped rock. This time, the evidence is stacking faster. We have hyperbolic trajectory, non-gravitational acceleration, jets with no visible tail, rhythmic pulsing blue shifted emission, ecliptic level trajectory, possible companion object, all in one interstellar visitor. If even one of these anomalies proves to be artificial, it changes everything. We're not alone in theory, we're not alone in data. So what happens next? On December 19th, 2025, 3i Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth, just 6 days before Christmas. It will pass within millions of kilometers, but close enough to allow for radar imaging from facilities like Goldstone, high-res optical imaging from ground telescopes, infrared scans, possible outburst detection. This is the moment of truth. We'll know, with far greater clarity, whether 3i Atlas is a natural object with strange properties, it's a metallic fragment from a larger interstellar body, it's maneuvering under internal propulsion, it's actually 2 or more objects moving together, or something more speculative, a probe or drifting artifact, and there's more. Harvard's Loeb has calculated that if a fast response mission were launched by March 16, 2026, using gravity assists, we might be able to intercept it using Juno-class hardware. It wouldn't be easy, but it's not impossible. The window is narrow, but if the object survives its Earth flyby, it may not just pass silently into the void. We might just go after it. As of now, telescopes across the world are mobilizing. Among them, Mauna Kea observatories, Hawaii Very Large Telescope, Chile James Webb, Space Telescope, likely targeted observation, European Space Agency's Solar Orbiter, NASA's Deep Space Network, Las Vegas Galileo Observatory, Harvard's Galileo Project node. From Chile's high altitudes to Italy's Virtual Telescope project, they're coordinating observation windows, comparing light curves, spectral data, and real-time tracking. But even with this grid of human eyes and machines, one truth remains. We don't fully understand what we're looking at. We've talked about the twin, but is there really a second object, or are we seeing an illusion? In mid-November 2025, amateur astronomers using SkyLive overlays reported a faint object roughly 9 degrees away from 3i Atlas. At first, it was dismissed as a data artifact, maybe a hot pixel, a background star, or a false return. But then, 3 independent observatories, including Mauna Kea in Hawaii, the Subaru Telescope, and the Lowell Observatory in Arizona, all began noticing a matching trajectory from this second body. The keyword here, trajectory. It's not just moving across the skies, it's accelerating just like 3i Atlas. The same angle, the same inclination, the same speed within 3%. And perhaps most astonishingly, the same color shift into the blue range. This isn't coincidence anymore, it's correlation. So what are the leading theories? Fragmented body. 3i Atlas might have split sometime before perihelion, creating 2 similar-sized bodies with similar chemistry, but no known fragmentation event has been observed. Binary visitor. The objects may have entered together, gravitationally bound before entering the solar system. This would be the first binary interstellar object ever discovered. Artificial cluster. Hypothesis. Some fringe theorists are even suggesting that we may be looking at multiple probes, launched or drifting in formation, from an unknown origin. The twin is now under active tracking, and major observatories are logging both its path and its photometric variations. And just as we started to understand it, something even stranger happened. On November 18th, the Galileo Project's Las Vegas telescope recorded a live observation session. At precisely 0247 UTC, a blue flash was detected from 3i Atlas, more intense than any previous burst. But this time, it wasn't just one. Over the course of 17 minutes, 7 jets activated in sequence, not simultaneously. The flashes rotated clockwise, following a geometric pattern across the object's surface. This was observed by the Virtual Telescope Project, Italy, the University of Chile Observatory, a telescope array in La Palma, Canary Islands. Each reported identical timing. The jets did not ignite randomly. They appeared to rotate. Now remember, comets don't do this. Natural jets from surface sublimation don't pulse in formation. They erupt from surface flaws or heat stress. But these jets turned on and off, like a sequence, like a pattern. And then something no one expected, a pause, followed by a double pulse, directly opposite the directions of solar radiation. That's not physics, that's navigation. Back at Harvard, Dr. Avi Loeb has been tracking 3i Atlas closely. In a recent closed-door seminar, leaked in excerpts via the Harvard Gazette, Loeb proposed a bold new idea. He calls it the Scout Hypothesis. In short, 3i Atlas, like Oumuamua before it, may not be a probe in the traditional sense, not something sending information back, but rather a passive listener, scanning, mapping, and moving through star systems in formation. Quote from Loeb, "Imagine a dandelion seed drifting through the universe. Occasionally, one lands somewhere interesting." But here's the twist. According to Loeb's math, the trajectory of 3i Atlas brought it within observational range of Earth, Mars, and Jupiter, all in less than 90 days. If you were a scout system, gathering planetary data, this is exactly the route you'd take. A low inclination, near ecliptic path offering maximum exposure to life-bearing worlds. Add to that the twin object, perhaps another scout in formation, and suddenly we're not talking about accidents. We're talking about mission design. Spectral analysis remains one of the most powerful tools we have to understand cosmic objects. When we break light into its wavelengths, we can detect what elements are present. In the case of 3I Atlas, the results are unusual. Nickel-rich signatures, low iron presence, absence of water vapor or carbon-based molecules. A surprising purity in emission lines, which suggests engineered rather than chaotic material. Dr. Gianluca Massi noted that the nickel signature in the blue spectral band resembles what's seen in processed asteroid metals, not primordial cometary ice. That's a big deal. If this object is metallic in nature, and not icy, then it's not a comet at all. And if it's not a comet, then what is it? Maybe a fragment, maybe debris, maybe a shell. This leads to a much more speculative theory, that what we're seeing is not the core of a body, but the outer casing of something once active, like finding a heat shield drifting through space. As mainstream coverage slowly grows, the public has already taken up the cause. On November 19th, a massive thread exploded on Our Astronomy, titled, "Is 3I Atlas Actually a Probe?" Serious discussion. In it, users shared time-lapse videos, photometric readings, and even past orbital data from NASA's Horizons database. Over 12,000 comments debated its properties, and the most upvoted comment? The lack of a tail makes no sense. The jets make less sense. The blue light? It's either the weirdest comet ever, or it's not a comet. Meanwhile, SETI forums began comparing 3I Atlas's movement to past anomalies, including the WOW signal from 1977, the long delay, echoes recorded in the 1920s, and even the behaviour of Oumuamua, which many now reconsider. We are watching, in real time, as a new cosmic mystery enters global consciousness. And with December 19th approaching, the day of closest approach, all eyes are turning skyward. Here's where things get political again. Multiple sources now confirm that NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, with its high-rise camera, captured images of 3I Atlas during its perihelion swing. These images were taken between October 28th and November 4th, when the object passed near Mars's orbital range. But as of this writing, none of those images have been released. Representative Luna has demanded transparency. NASA has issued no public response. Dr. Loeb has called the delay scientifically unjustified. So why the silence? Theories abound. The images reveal nothing new, and the agency is waiting for December data. The images show anomalies that could ignite media chaos, or the data is still being vetted due to national security concerns. Because if the object is artificial, even partially, that changes everything. Here's something poetic, and just a little eerie. On December 19th, 2025, as 3I Atlas passes its closest to Earth, the object will appear, from our perspective, to glide near the constellation Orion. Specifically, it will pass visually close to Betelgeuse, one of the brightest red supergiants in our sky. Think about it. A cold metallic blue object, travelling interstellar speeds, pulsing light in jets, passing visually near a dying red giant star. It's not symbolic, it's astronomy. But the visuals will be breathtaking. And as Skive simulation software shows, anyone with a telescope or strong binoculars on December 19th will be able to track it. It may appear as a flickering dot, speeding faster than any asteroid. Or maybe, as some are predicting, it will split, sending off fragments or signals. Either way, the alignment is set. The countdown has begun. Let's recap what to expect on December 19th. Closest approach to Earth expected, visual and radar imaging from Earth-based systems, potential fragmentation or event burst, high-frequency scans for emissions or transmissions, global observatories trained on it, live data streams from multiple countries, and perhaps most critically, public eyes will be on the sky. Whether 3I Atlas is a natural oddity or a whisper from the stars, we are watching together. Some hope for answers, some expect silence, some are preparing for something bigger. The universe may not answer in words, but on December 19th, it just might answer in light. With all the evidence gathered so far, astronomers and theorists have narrowed the possibilities of what 3I Atlas and its potential twin could actually be. Let's break them down. The most conservative view. 3I Atlas is a rare kind of interstellar comet made mostly of nickel, with extremely unusual jets due to internal pressure and rotation. But this explanation struggles to justify the maneuver-like acceleration, the blue-shifted emissions, the lack of tail or debris cloud. It fits until it doesn't. This theory suggests 3I Atlas is a piece of something bigger, possibly ejected from an ancient planet or moon in a distant system. Its composition, lacking water and showing a processed metal signature, supports this. But again, what about the jets, the directional pulses? A drifting fragment doesn't pulse. A growing number of researchers, especially within the Galileo project, are entertaining the idea that this is a non-natural craft. The precision of its jets, the rhythmic blue pulses, the twins' coordinated motion, the Koplaner trajectory. These don't match any known natural behaviour. If it is a probe, it may be ancient, silent, drifting, listening, or active. Some theorists go even further, proposing that 3I Atlas and its twin are parts of a single structure, possibly a long-dead spacecraft or interstellar beacon that fractured during transit or entry into the solar system. If that's true, what we're seeing now might be pieces of something even larger, scattered across millions of kilometres. And if one piece is pulsing, what are the others doing? Let's circle back to the most tantalising coincidence. The arrival direction of 3I Atlas lies within 9 degrees of the original WOW signal detected by Ohio State's Big Ear Radio telescope in 1997. The WOW signal was a 72-second narrowband burst, never repeated. No known origin. Some called it the best candidate for alien communication we've ever recorded. Could there be a connection? Some in the SETI community have theorized that the signal might have come from an object transmitting in a burst rather than a continuous source, meaning it could have moved or left the region soon after. And now, nearly 50 years later, from almost the same area of space, comes 3I Atlas, pulsing, jetting, rotating. Strange. Is this causation or cosmic coincidence? We can't know. But we do know this: the stars remember, and sometimes they echo. As the object nears Earth, one major fear, or hope, is that 3I Atlas will break apart, revealing internal structure. NASA scientists privately speculate that if fragmentation occurs, we might detect smaller secondary bodies, possibly hidden inside jetting behaviour, could increase, revealing controlled propulsion. Debris could provide compositional clues, especially if some of it enters detectable Earth or moon-bound trajectories. But there's risk. If the object breaks up, we may lose key data, or worse, never fully understand what it was. There's also public concern, or fueled by online speculation, about whether any fragments pose a threat. Rest assured, all current models show no impact risk, but depending on its structure, 3I Atlas may either fade into cosmic silence or do something nobody expects. We've never been this close to an interstellar object acting this strange. Let's zoom out. In just the past 8 years, humanity has detected 3 interstellar visitors: 2017, 1I Oumuamua, 2019, 2I Borisov, 2025, 3I Atlas, and maybe its twin. Each has gotten stranger, more complex, and more indicative that our solar system is not a quiet cul-de-sac. It's on a cosmic freeway. The Copernican principle, the idea that we're not special, may be proving true again, not just in location, but in visitation. We may not be the only observers. We may in fact be the observed. And as Dr. Loeb has said many times, when you walk into a room and see a strange object, don't assume it belongs there. Ask who brought it. So what do you think? Will 3i Atlas break apart and reveal something shocking? Will its twin alter course and rendezvous? Are we witnessing an ancient machine drifting through space, or simply the most extreme natural comet ever recorded? Either way, we are standing at the edge of history. December 19th may give us answers, or more questions, and on that night, telescopes across the globe will aim upward. The answer still lies in the vastness of the stars. If you want to follow this story as it continues to unfold, subscribe and turn on notifications. We're tracking all developments, especially as December 19th approaches. I'll be posting a follow-up video with the imagery as soon as it's released. Leave a comment. Do you think 3i Atlas is natural or artificial? What do you think the blue pulses are? And what will we discover next? I read every comment, and I'd love to know what you believe. Until next time, keep watching the skies.